Come on, Houston. I don't know what is wrong with y'all out there, what they're putting in the water. Houston delivers yet another tragic story. Now, with this story, I know that they officially declared this child still missing, but it's not looking good at all. Okay? And I believe that the biological father in this situation is definitely withholding information. It's just really sad to think that people could do this to their own kids. But before we get into the details, some people and some of you watching might find my content controversial or offensive. The information that I'm putting out there is coming from a credible source, this one being click2houston.com. So thank you for the article. This video also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing these tragedies to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Before we even get into this, beautiful little girl right there. Houston, Texas. Again, Houston police and Texas EquiSearch are searching for a missing 2-year-old child who is the daughter of a man accused of choking his common law wife to death on Tuesday. I absolutely would not put it past him, especially knowing that he's not cooperating with law enforcement, that he might have done something to this little girl too and just not wanting to speak on it because he's being a damn asshole. Not only to do what he did to his common law wife, but probably what he did to his daughter too. We got to be more careful about how we're pair bonding and stop just looking at the outside and start finding the content in somebody's heart and find out who people really are. We really got to do a much better job of vetting people before we start having kids by them. Okay? Now, police said that the toddler by the name of Nadia Lee, which was the little girl that y'all saw in the picture right there, was last seen near the 300 block of South Ritchie Street in Pasadena on October the 16th around 8 p.m. at her father's apartment. According to HPD, Nadia is the daughter of 26-year-old Jiron Charles Lee, the man who was arrested and charged with murder after reportedly choking his 22-year-old wife, Nancy Reed. Choked her to death during a dispute about the way that she disciplined her other children in Southeast Houston. So you're trying to correct her about how she disciplined her children. Ma'am, you don't need to do it that way. So to teach her the right way to do it, you kill her? Where's the logic in that? In order to show somebody how to do something better, you take your dumb ass and you decide to go do it 100 times worse and cause the death of that person. I don't understand what level of intelligence that is. You just can't be that damn level of dumb. Let's keep going. Tim Miller, the founder of EquiSearch, said Lee checked the child out of foster care on Friday, the missing girl, this baby, on October 14th and never returned her. Investigators with Houston police said Jiron had custody of the child for a short period of time. Miller said Lee claims that the child was with him at the apartment complex on Sunday when he took the trash out, but when he returned, the child was gone. What do y'all want to bet? That he killed the child and threw her in the trash can like most of these people in these situations that are accused of killing their kids do? Check the landfills, EquiSearch. Check the landfills. She just disappeared. Not likely. Miller and his team spent hours Thursday searching a bayou in a wooded area near Jiron's apartment for the child. It doesn't look good at this time, I can say that. There have been absolutely no sightings of her, Miller said. We've got people that are looking at cameras and different things right now. We got a 2-year-old missing, certainly endangered missing. I can't say that. I don't know if it's going to have a happy outcome, but we're going to do everything we can to have an outcome. Miller said authorities have interviewed Lee about his daughter, and he allegedly said he didn't report the girl missing because he believed that she was with her mom. While he went, and I want y'all to remember, he said he went, took out the trash, came back in, and she disappeared. And somehow the child he thought was with the mom, which is why he didn't tell police, oh, my daughter's missing. That, man. Ooh, anyway, let's keep going. During a news conference on Thursday, authorities said that Lee was no longer cooperating with investigators about the whereabouts of Nadia, and DNA evidence found inside his apartment has them believing that the girl may be dead. I'm pretty sure that they probably found some blood. I'm just assuming. I don't know that it's going to be, if it's going to have the outcome that we want to have, Miller said. Nora Reed, who is Nancy Reed's mother and grandmother to Nadia, said that she last saw the child a week ago. Nora said Jaron had brought the child over to visit and had told her Nadia had been staying with his relatives in Louisiana for the past year. He brought her to us and said, I just brought her here. Maybe you would like to see her. And I allowed Nadia to come inside for a few minutes. And I put her in my lap and I hugged her and I kissed her, Nora said. Nora said that she had been heartbroken this week following the death of her daughter and the disappearance of her granddaughter. Why would he do something like this? And why would he do it in front of his children? It's heartbreaking. It really is. My heart is just broken, she added. And so I just hope that we find the baby, and I hope we find Nadia. Nancy's sister, Delia Reed, said Jaron and his sister had a tumultuous relationship for years. Red and yellow flags. Thank you, Mookie, brother. Thank you. We always talk about the red and yellow flags. I'm pretty sure early on, she had yellow flags about this fool's behavior, that he was an unstable creature. And she had all the red flags in the world when you're talking about there was a tumultuous relationship for years. Meaning you could have left years ago, you could have protected your child years ago and protected yourself years ago and probably never even get involved with him or even have kids with him from the jump. I'm pretty sure he didn't just turn into an asshole right when you had a kid by him. Pretty sure he was already like this. They quote, she always ran back to him. They always were back and forth with the kids, here and there with the kids, the older sister said. It was just a messy situation between them, and we're always trying to support her, always trying to help her escape. She wanted to leave, and she never got away. My motto on domestic violence in those relationships, not to find the strength to leave, but my motto to those women in most of these situations usually involve women, primarily, don't get involved. The woman's family said that they believe she was making an effort to leave the night that she was choked to death in the hotel. Anybody with information about Nadia's whereabouts is asked to call the Homicide Division of the Houston Police Department at 713-308-3600 or Texas EquiSearch at 281-309-9500. Lee is currently in jail being held on a $250,000 bond. Let me give you guys a fair use. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And also, you guys can support this particular story in this video. Hit that thumbs up. Too many stories coming out of Houston, man. But support these. We want to continue to keep getting the awareness and exposure out there, even if it's coming from my home state. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Here are the news videos.
We are also tracking the latest developments after a woman was killed on Tuesday. Police say her common-law husband choked her.
Now Texas EquiSearch is helping in that search for the woman's missing 2-year-old daughter. Our Rochelle Turner is live on the story in Pasadena this morning. Rochelle?
And Owen, good morning to you. And I want to tell you that right now, Texas EquiSearch will be starting day 2 of their search in just a few hours for that 2-year-old little girl. Houston police now suspect foul play in her disappearance. Now take a look at your screen. I want to show you this 2-year-old little girl. This is Nadia Lee. She was last seen at an apartment complex in the 300 block of South Ritchie and Pasadena, where police say her father lived. Police arrested her father, Yaron Lee, who's charged with strangling Nancy Reed, the child's 22-year-old mother, at a southeast Houston motel.
At a motel. I don't even know how they even end up at a damn motel. Where they living there, don't really know. But somebody in the chat said something I think is very poignant. It's from one of my ladies, and I appreciate you saying this because it's true. It says some of these women don't leave because the dick means more to them than their kids. Ma'am, well said. Well said. I know I've said similar things, but I think you probably put a bow on it, and that was probably the best way to say it. Dick means more to these women than their kids. In a lot of these situations, not all, we're not victim blaming. We're saying as adults, we got to make better decisions by our kids. That's all we're saying.
Nadia's 2 siblings are said to have witnessed the incident. Right now at this hour, Lee remains in the Harris County Jail on a $250,000 bond. And according to police, Lee checked Nadia out of foster care on Friday, but never returned her. Yesterday, we spoke to Nadia's grandmother, who is hoping for answers.
Why would he do something like this, and why would he do it in front of his children?
Trying to find a baby right now.
And it is heartbreaking. It really is. My heart is just broken in half. So I just hope that we find a baby. I hope we find Nadia.
And Lee told investigators that he went to take out the trash around 8 p.m. that Sunday, and when he came back, Nadia was gone. He told investigators he didn't report it because he thought that Nadia's mother, Nancy Reed, had took her. Coming up in the next hour, you're going to hear from Tim Miller about what they're going to be searching for more this morning in the next few hours.
In the search for 2-year-old Nadia Lee.
Police believe she is a victim of foul play. Her father accused of killing her mother, Nancy, this week at a hotel. Brittany Ford has been following this story, and she's joining us live from the search, which is happening now in Pasadena. Brittany.
Borrega, Texas EquiSearch actually wrapped up those efforts just about 30 minutes ago, but throughout the day here, they have just been combing through this area, even expanding some of their efforts into the surrounding neighborhoods, hoping for a miracle. This is 22-year-old Nancy Reed and her daughter Nadia as an infant. Friday, Texas EquiSearch returned to Memorial Park in Pasadena, expanding search efforts for 2-year-old Nadia.
I think we did a good job yesterday clearing a lot of areas, and we can say we know where she's not.
Nadia was last seen at her father, Yaron Lee's Pasadena apartment Sunday. Investigators say Lee was seen on camera walking around the apartment's dumpster with a stroller. They say evidence found inside Lee's apartment point to foul play. Tim Miller with Texas EquiSearch says they're leaving no stone unturned.
Time is not on our side, and we was thinking we got a small child and we got a big city.
Lee has been charged with Reed's murder tied to a domestic dispute that happened at a hotel this week. Reed's family says the two have 5 children together. The family has set up this GoFundMe page for her funeral expenses as they pray for Nadia's return.
This case has touched a lot of hearts, and so we're going to do everything we can do and be her voice. And
Now, Lee did appear in court today, where he is now being represented by a lawyer. His bond remains set at $250,000.
Now this 2-year-old Nadia Lee is still missing after police say her mother was murdered. Tonight, court records reveal new details about what may have led to all of this. Grace White joins us now with what she's been able to find. Grace?
Even before Nadia Lee was born, court records show her family had problems. Both her parents spent the last few years in and out of the Harris County Jail, and at one point her mother even writing a judge begging for help.
There's typically a history. It's a cycle.
As Houston police try to find missing 2-year-old Nadia Lee, court records reveal what was happening at home years before.
I think it's really easy for us to look at that and say, wow, like we missed a lot, but we did.
The little one's mother, Nancy Reed, was strangled to death. Houston police arrested the girl's father, Jiron Lee, for murder, but it was him who called authorities. He told them he was trying to keep Reed from harming their children. Domestic violence cases Michelle Sachs with the Houston Area Women's Center says can be challenging to investigate.
There was a lot of nuances to what was happening, and not just on that particular day, but again, there was a long history there.
According to court records, both parents have spent the last few years in and out of the Harris County Jail. The father convicted on minor offenses like theft and giving an officer a false report. But on the mother's record, there is a history of family violence. After an Amber Alert was issued for her and one of her children in 2018, Reed was convicted of aggravated assault on that child, and a protective order was filed against her. It was a different child than the one currently missing. Later that year, court records show the mom sent this letter to the judge asking for help, saying the accusations were false, that she was currently pregnant and suffering from postpartum depression.
It is heartbreaking, it really is. My heart is just broken in half.
Both the mother's family and the father's family have spoken to KHU 11, praying for the 2-year-old's safe return.
We just really don't want to believe that she is gone.
HPD homicide detectives are now involved in the search for Nadia.
Children is one of the big barriers to leaving. Again, in this situation, there was 5 kids. We don't want to see kids hurt by any means, so I think that's another reason to try to help.
Help advocates say this case is a reminder of why more resources are needed. Grace White, KHOU 11 News.
I don't get it. What resources are they saying that these people need? It don't sound like they need to have reproductive organs. Is that callous of me to say? I don't think it is. These are, based on what they're saying, and the fact that even this woman who was choked to death had a protection order out against her. Against her. It sounds like they both were violent people, confrontational people. And these people are the ones creating all of these kids. So it definitely don't sound like she's an angel either. I know her mama probably not going to like me saying that. But if you be real with yourself, then that's just the truth. Don't get mad about the truth. Like, all she did in her adult life was have kid after kid after kid after kid. They shouldn't have, neither one of them should have been parents.
Jim, thanks. In just a few hours now, searchers will be back out looking for a missing 2-year-old girl.
Nadia Lee is the daughter of a woman who police say was murdered earlier this week. The suspect in that case is Jiron Lee, the woman's common-law husband and Nadia's father.
As the search continues, Ugochi Iloka is live with the latest on this story. Ugochi?
Dave and staff, today Texas EquiSearch will be back out here at Pasadena's Memorial Park to search for that little girl who was last seen here Sunday. Now, police sadly confirmed that she is the daughter of the mom who was allegedly murdered by her common-law husband, we understand, Tuesday. So that is even more complicated news there. tying to this investigation. Take a look. This is the little girl in question that they're looking for. Houston police first learned 2-year-old Nadia Lee was missing while investigating the murder of her mother, Nancy Reed. Earlier this week, police responded to Bay Area Boulevard when Reed's common-law husband called police saying he had put her in a chokehold to keep her from harming the children. But 26-year-old Jairon Lee was arrested for murdering Reed, and investigators say they have evidence that lead them to believe there was foul play involved with little Nadia's disappearance at Lee's Pasadena apartment. A Texas EquuSearch was out here yesterday searching for her too. Nancy's family says she was trying to get away from Lee.
It's just a messy situation between them. And we were always trying to support her, always trying to help her.
It is heartbreaking, it really is. My heart is just broken.
And for those who are asking if they have any more pictures of that little girl, besides the picture of her as a little baby and then that last picture, that's all I was able to find. I don't know if that was for a lack of pictures or what. I really don't know.
And we start here tonight at 9 with continuing coverage of the desperate effort to find that missing 2-year-old girl.
Authorities have been looking all over Harris County and fear the worst after police say that her father, right there, strangled her mother to death.
And he's now in custody, but the little girl is still nowhere to be found. Fox 26's Sherman DeSalle joining us live tonight on top of this tragic story. Sherman.
Tragic indeed. Good evening, Rashi and Jonathan. Investigators say the evidence they found so far is leading them to believe that this missing child is not okay tonight. Meanwhile, her grandmother's distraught, hoping for some type of good news after losing her own daughter in the last week.
Why would he do something like this, and why would he do it in front of his children?
Trying to find the baby right now.
And it is heartbreaking, it really is.
Nora Reed says her daughter Nancy's life was in jeopardy, and her last attempt to get away from her common-law husband, Jairon Lee, cost her everything.
He has ruined her life and my sister's life. He has done a lot of damage to my mom's life. While he used to live with my mom, they both stayed with my mom.
Police say the night of October 18th, they responded to a call at this Sonesta Hotel on Bay Area Road. Lee admitted to officers he choked Reed after claiming she was choking one of their young children. 2 young girls, 1 and 3 years old, were in the hotel room at the time, but police say they were not hurt. Nancy Reed later died in the hospital. While investigating, police learned another child, Nadia Lee, had been missing before this incident. She was last seen at Jairon's apartment 2 days before in Pasadena. And evidence found so far indicates little Nadia may be dead. Crews are even checking a bayou nearby.
While we do still have hope that she is found, we do have to put in efforts to search with Tim just to see if we can locate her in any means.
We're going to continue checking the bio in case something happened in there and something has possibly not floated yet.
Lee remains in jail, and he's not cooperating with police on Nadia's whereabouts. Nora Reed says her loving daughter didn't deserve this and hopes others dealing with domestic violence will run for their own safety.
The first sign of domestic violence, I would just advise whoever's in it to get out. Get out.
I think the best advice is to just not get involved. Not get out. Don't get involved. So I think they have pretty strong evidence charging that man with murder of the baby mom. That'll probably get him a life sentence. At this point, you know, I don't. There's really nothing more that he's going to. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Somebody in the chat said he won't tell it. I really wish he would. I wish he would. But like I said, it's part of doing the right thing. But, you know, neither one of these people were doing the right thing by their kids at all. It's not looking good. But like I said, if we get an answer, then maybe that'll be just as conscious eating them up. But at this point, it don't sound like we're going to get an answer. So for now, keep that baby in your prayers. But we pretty much know how this is probably going to turn out. But keep the baby in your prayers anyway, okay? But if we get an update, we'll definitely update you guys if there's more to tell about this particular story, okay? Thank you.